You're sitting in front of your prospect and the prospect says to you, so I have a question for you, Mr. Salesman. Will your system work on Windows? And the average salesman blurts out, absolutely, and not just Windows, it'll work on XP, it'll work on this, it'll work on that, no problem, sir. And at that precise moment, the prospect says, well, that could be a problem because everything else we've tried hasn't. Hi, my name's Benjamin. I'm the UK's most hated sales trainer, and this is another rant. So today, what I wanted to rant about is this insidious infection called professionalism. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe a salesperson should be a professional. But we all have different definitions of what a professional means. And the average salesperson sees a professional as someone that looks the part, suited and booted. There's a television show, which I'm sure you've seen. It's called The Apprentice. Now, I'm pretty sure that The Apprentice is funded by the Procurement Association of Great Britain because it is solely a PR campaign to turn everybody against sales folk. Because this show glorifies and exemplifies everything that we wouldn't want in a salesperson. Greedy, narcissistic, kind of stupid in an intellectual kind of way. Driven solely by getting the deal at all and any cost. And this perpetuates the dislike and the fundamental mistrust that people have with the sales profession. So professionalism should be in the way in which you conduct yourself, but not necessarily in the way you carry yourself. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is this. A lot of people have been bought into the myth that a good salesperson can answer questions intelligently, on the ball. They know their I's, they can dot their T's. And yes, a good salesman has that knowledge, but a good salesman knows he doesn't have to share it. See, a good salesman knows that if he's ever asked a question, it's not his job to give an answer, but is to inquire of the person who asked why that question is specifically important or has been raised, or what is the true motive, cause, and intent behind it. Because if I don't know that, how can I possibly answer? Even if I know the answer, I don't know why the person asking the question wants to know the answer. So let me give you a very, very, very simplistic version of this. You're in a sales meeting. Your product is software. It works on Windows. You know it works. It works. It works. You know this. You're sitting in front of your prospect and the prospect says to you, so I have a question for you, Mr. Salesman. Will your system work on Windows? And the average salesman blurts out, absolutely, and not just Windows. It'll work on XP. It'll work on this. It'll work on that. No problem, sir. And at that precise moment, the prospect says, well, that could be a problem because everything else we've tried hasn't worked. Now, at this precise moment, the salesman only has one option, and that is to justify and defend the answer that they've already given. And then what does justifying and defending sound like to the person on the receiving end? Dodgy, sleazy, desperate, needy, somewhat unbecoming. What if the salesman had done something different? What if he decided, before I answer that question, I just want to figure out why they've asked? I mean, that's fair. Surely a professional would do that. A professional wouldn't feel the need to vomit up an answer like a parrot regurgitating a fact. What would he do? He would say, that's a brilliant question. In fact, it's a very specific question and one I don't often get asked. Happy to answer, but do you mind, before I answer that question, because I feel you've asked me for a reason, there must be a reason you've asked me that very specific question about will it work on Windows. Do you mind sharing with me what that is? And I know for a fact that 99% of the time, the prospect will return with a, well, yeah, because we've tried implementing other systems and it hasn't worked. Now, 1 in 100, they may respond with a pugilistic, arrogant, almost adversarial comment like, just answer my question, which ironically is the response that 99% of salespeople think will happen if you ask that question. It won't, but it could happen. Yeah, if it does happen, don't write me because you're the 1 in a million. Buy a lotto ticket, you're lucky. Yeah, so that's my rant. Professionalism isn't looking suited, booted and polished and having the answer. Professional is relax, comfortable in your own skin, capable of challenging any question, asking what it means before you answer. So please, stop behaving like a professional and start acting like a professional. That's my rant. Enjoy your week.